we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Phil. I've got my co-host, Ulric.
What's up, everyone?
We are here live at TabConf with the creator and the organizer of TabConf, Mike Tidwell. Mike, thank you very much for having us here, letting us do the news desk, and we appreciate being at TabConf, man. What do you got for us?
I didn't let you do the news desk. You just did the news desk, and
I'm trying to make this sound better.
you know,
Can't
it's,
confirm.
well, it's better that way because it's, you know, you do something, beg for forgiveness, and it's way more productive that way versus, you know, everyone asking for permission to do things. So I think y'all did it right. You opened up a GitHub issue, right? You said, "Hey, we're gonna do this." I said, "Cool." Bada bing, bada boom.
How many other people were able to actually open a GitHub issue from the podcasting side? Because of course I need to feel good right now, so I'm going to do this.
Right. No, I think that's a good question. I think we had interest for one other podcast. We had Stacker News. I know that's not a podcast.
Are they coming?
No, they decided to set up in the ballroom.
Oh, okay. We're going to go see them after. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, TabConf is super chill. Let us know what you're doing. You'll probably end up getting approved unless you're doing something absolutely insane. But like, you know, that's going to be like a fire hazard or something. But otherwise, yeah, it's.
So I have a question. So the TabConf, you know, when it's natural, you think like technical. We're in the ATL, Technical Atlanta Bitcoin Conference, but that's not actually what it stands for. Do you know what it stands for?
No, I don't. That's why. Help us with this
that's
acronym.
right.
Help us with what does TabConf stand for? Because obviously I was totally wrong when we went through that tweet storm. It has nothing to do with the Atlanta. So
No.
what is it?
No, so think about it like this. There's a space out here. There's a space, the general hacker area in the ballroom.
Yeah.
And then you have workshop 1 and workshop 2. That's 4 spaces. 4 spaces makes the tab.
Tab.
Oh,
So it really is that geeky.
but
That's what that is. Okay.
By the way, I just
You just made that up. Yeah, you're
no.
terrible. You said terrible.
that sounded really good.
Oh my
So,
God.
for the audience he's
Yeah.
trolling, TabConf stands for Technical Accessible Bitcoin, and then Conf, community.
So
Open
Tab started
source,
out as a meetup in 2016 officially.
Mhm.
And it stood at that time for the Atlanta blockchain
Okay.
meetup.
Oh.
And,
Okay.
and
Had to clean that up.
Yeah.
and when ICO craze happened and a lot of these altcoins ended up becoming very apparent scams, we actually made the blockchain meetup a scam buster meetup where we would invite people in and we would debate heavily on this. And I have like a pretty iconic video in front of like 400 people where I trolled the hell out of Cardano and EOS and all this kind of stuff and saying like how, you know, this is pretty much not interesting. Bitcoin is interesting. Now, the problem is, especially with like IBM, Hyperledger and other things, the word blockchain lost all meaning.
Oh yeah.
And we abandoned the word blockchain, I think in 2017, 18. And then we just said, you know what? We tried the blockchain thing, like in terms of like branding. And it was cool to bring a lot of people in and teach them about Bitcoin. It was almost like come for the blockchain, get orange filled with
Right.
Bitcoin. So it ended up being kind of cool.
Mhm.
But at some point it became Bitcoin was so interesting and had so many things going on you couldn't even keep up with it. We just made it Bitcoin specific, exclusive, and also it was already what we were talking about anyways. So it was already a Bitcoin meetup. It then stood for the Atlanta Bitcoin meetup, but that created controversy because it seemed like I was trying to steal the branding of the Bitcoin meetup for Atlanta. So then Steven actually helped out, took control, and the meetup then became a Atlanta Bit Devs. So it evolved into a Bit Devs, and the conference still keeps the Tab branding from 2018. So I don't really feel like Tab stands for Atlanta, doesn't stand for anything. And also, I don't like it standing for Bitcoin because of OPSEC and trying to keep things low key. You'll notice a lot of our swag doesn't have the Bitcoin logo on it.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love it.
I think like having a cool tech conference that isn't like super hardcore, like Bitcoin branding is kind of like cool, but like everyone knows we're actually talking about Bitcoin. And then I think there also is opportunity to potentially have a TabConf in other places outside of Atlanta in the future. So why brand it?
Pigeonhole.
You know, why pigeonhole yourself with the brand? So Tab at this point, similar to NCR, used to stand for National Cash Register. NCR doesn't stand for anything anymore.
It's just NCR.
It's just NCR. TabConf. That's sort of the route I want to take it. Yeah,
I can appreciate that. I can definitely.
What an interesting interview, huh?
I
we
think
just
it
talk about
is.
branding
Well,
of Tab, huh?
Well, we're here at the TabConf, so that's what we're going to talk about. But to your point about dropping blockchain, right? It kind of reminds me of like not using the term crypto, you know, because crypto is just such garbage.
Used to be cryptography, then
right?
Essentially just stood.
It loses its
scam.
meaning.
Just
right.
I mean, crypto just meant a crypto token or a crypto coin or whatever. It's just a generic term for all cryptocurrencies.
Exactly.
Somehow that happened over the course of like a few years.
And it sounds terrible. It's not even fun, you know. It's just it just sounds sort of wienerific. But tell me, what are your so today for day one? What are the talks that people have to look forward to?
Well, we have all of our workshops. I mean, so today and tomorrow are workshops.
Okay.
Heavily indexed into workshops. If there is a talk or whatever, it's going to be very one-off. Mainly to do with scheduling conflicts and people's availability. But the workshops today, around 2 or 3 o'clock, we start getting really deep into Web of Trust ideas. And we have Christopher Allen here today.
Oh, wow.
Being the adult in the room, he spent 30 years on DIDs and Web of Trust technologies. He invented SSL. You know, he's like a big deal kind of guy that's going to potentially help us figure out where we want to take this project, what direction do we want to take it in. Because I really think not knowing that pictures, videos are fake, not easily being able to rotate like a Nostr pub key. There's just so many things where a Web of Trust and a good system protocol would be useful. And why not have TabConf be a conduit, annual meeting ground for this idea, and also help sort of push this and get behind some sort of protocol and really try to push it in a having a decentralized kind of identity approach to it versus, we just heard, Europe just solidified their sort of centralized identity scheme. Switzerland just pivoted, did their own centralized identity scheme that was different than the rest of Europe. And, kind of going against the grain and saying, hey, we don't need a state to tell us how we want to do authentication and ID, I think is a really cool concept. And it's almost like we've been so conditioned and trained to think this isn't even possible,
Oh, absolutely.
that we haven't even really dug into it. Now we're getting to the point where Sora and music and all this kind of stuff is completely fake. And we have no way of knowing. We have no real robust system for being able to sign like, hey, yes, this is real. And I know like, oh, Phil said this is real. And or Phil's friend said this is real, and I'm friends with you, and I can have some sort of guarantees with some sort of reputational certainty that some content I'm reading is actually legitimate. That system doesn't really exist right now. We have to build it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're ideating today on what that would look like and how TabConf could potentially support this idea for years to come. So
nice.
I'm kind of excited. That's today, this evening.
I feel like DIDs are a double-edged sword. Like I love the idea, but I get so worried, right?
Well, the DID guy is here today,
Christopher Allen.
Yeah, no, you should definitely grill him. You should interview him too.
I would love. I'm definitely going to try to get him to come and join us here for a talk.
DIDs have been worked on for so long, and they've gone like pretty much nowhere. And Christopher Allen is actually giving a talk today. Like I said, there are a few talks. It's called The Sad State of DIDs.
Okay.
He's
very cool.
Probably give some history on why they suck.
That's sweet.
And why he wants to fix them or whatever.
And maybe we'll sit in on that one.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting out here the whole time.
Yeah.
Mike, I have a question. So again, technical Bitcoin conference, different than the traditional conferences you see out there, primarily financial based. How would you describe this conference as a conference for the people that aren't as technically adept as the engineer, the IT person, the programmer? I see a lot of these potential talks during the week, and from the naked eye, it could scare some people away. And for the audience, we are looking at the GitHub right now, looking at the calendars. How could you describe this as like, and here we are seeing, like, you guys can't see it, but the level of competency for the audience. What are some things that you could say to encourage people to come to conferences like this to elevate their knowledge?
Yeah, so a few things. One is, when email first came out, no one knew how to send an email. It was very confusing. I see Bitcoin as no different. Like, you have to learn. Don't be afraid to get technical first off. So already break the idea that you're like, hey, this isn't for me because it's too technical. We have something here for literally everyone, from complete beginner, like newbie, to protocol developer. We also did realize there's a lot of people that like to come to TabConf that can't really engage in the workshops. And this year we specifically created a beginners 101 track. So today and tomorrow there will be 101 track beginner material for people that are very new to Bitcoin that also want to get their feet wet with some actual technicals. But I really find it funny because everyone has the impression that TabConf is too technical for them. And then they come and they're like, oh my God, this was great. I'm so happy I came. I only understood 15%, but that 15% was so invigorating. And I loved, talking to people. And this was so good, better than any other conference I've been to. I'm like, yeah, it's like, next year come back, learn 20%. Next year come back and you feel comfortable with 30%. I'm at the point where, I'm not even close to 100%. So I'm still, you don't want to be somewhere where you're always comfortable. TabConf is like a good place where you can sort of, you set your own journey.
Yes.
It's like a self-guided tour of what do I want to do? Who do I want to talk to? What do I want to learn? And who do I want to teach once I've learned a bunch of stuff? Because there's going to be people here that are even newer than the newest people that, in their mind that they think they're new. So I really am, I challenge this, and I've said this many times, that true sovereignty right now in Bitcoin requires you to be technical.
Mm-hmm.
And that means technical enough to be self-sovereign, and that changes over the years. What is happening now, and for instance, we see this with the knots and the Bitcoin Core debate with users wanting to run different relay policies. This is great, although I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the framing and the premise of the debate in general.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, this is a net good as long as you think of it technically, people learning how to configure their nodes, people learning that there can be more than one node implementation. Like, these are all things where it's like you are a sovereign Bitcoiner when you take your destiny into your own hands. Whether you're doing something stupid or whether you're doing something smart, you are understanding how it works, and that is the most important. In my opinion.
So when we had a comment, we have a comment from somebody because we do live chat, and he's saying that the hard hodl is saying technical enough to show someone how to be technical.
But I do like the example at the beginning, how you said, like, there was a time when people didn't understand email, and people who understood email, the email early adopters, were seen as technical. Well, now anyone and their grandma and their grandkid can use email. And so I guess the Overton window of what is technical is constantly shifting. And so what you're learning now in Bitcoin at the TabConf 10 years from now can be common knowledge. So
it's stay ahead of the curve. Right now Bitcoin is volatile enough in terms of the companies behind it, the hardware, the way you securely store your Bitcoin. I mean, the idea of like, oh wait, I have to trust this random website with my hardware wallet, and then wait, what if the website gets hacked? What if that website disappears? What do I do when this protocol? Wait a minute, this protocol, these 12-word seeds aren't even supported by Bitcoin Core. It's not even part of the Bitcoin Core node. Like, I have to use a third-party software, and now I have to trust these people. And then wait a minute, this hardware, I have to make sure it hasn't been hacked. And like, all these things are like, wait a minute, we're talking about life-changing financial wealth that could be tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars someday for a lot of people. And we're talking about not thinking it's important to understand how it works. Like, it's funny is, like, I guarantee you Bitcoin, what you need to know to be self-sovereign in Bitcoin is way simpler than understanding how our fiat financial system works.
Yes.
And people I think, are just under the wrong impression where they're confusing technicality with familiarity. And I think they're not necessarily familiar with Bitcoin, therefore it's a technical thing versus, you know, going back to the fiat example, I think the fiat example is very, very technical, especially if you're integrating with all the various, protocols and how everything works and how these things work at a nitty-gritty. I know a lot of these things like Swift and ACH and all wires and stuff have been around for a long time, but still like integrating with those things and then also doing things on top of them with payments and chargebacks and credit cards and all this kind of stuff and integrating with various APIs and then how they differ. I mean, there's just and then the Federal Reserve and central banking. It's like, wait,
Well, essentially, right? If you think about it, all of the complexity is masked by the third-party centralization, right? They're creating these easy user experiences that mask everything that's happening. So, you don't actually, to the average person, right? They don't see this complexity and they don't even realize it. So then all of a sudden we come along talking about Bitcoin and it's like, whoa, I got to do all this work right now. I'm just using this card.
The outsourcing of trust.
Yeah, exactly.
What is trust?
So it's more than just outsourcing the trust.
People are selling it out.
Yeah, and arguably the same thing happened going back to the email example. Email got significantly easier because of central, third parties and like Yahoo and AOL and Gmail and stuff. And Bitcoin, it's like, wait a minute, we don't want the easy button for central, custodial, user experience. We actually want, like, what's the user experience where we still have self-sovereignty? And that's what, because there's so many interesting things happening in Bitcoin, understanding everything that's going on and everything that's at your disposal and what's coming down the pipe and how best to secure your Bitcoin and how to use it. Man, there's just so much to learn right now. And thinking that, oh, I have my 12-word seed, I'm good. And then I'm like, well, what's a descriptor? What's your derivation path that you're using?
For nobody. I remember the first time I heard of that. I'm like, what the hell is that?
I'm like, well, do you know how BIP32 works? Like, what if that hardware wallet stops working? What if what if Trezor's integration gets hacked or that goes out of business or whatever? Like, what are you going to do? Like, do you know actually how this works? Like, oh, well, I would back it up to another wallet. I'm like, well, what if that, like, do you like that's good that you have a plan, but I'm just saying, like, make sure you understand, like, there's some people
like, what is it doing? There's
some people that think, like, for instance, like a BIP39 like seed phrase, like when you create it has to work for that wallet, and you like it's really like set to that wallet, and it can't ever move out and stuff. And it's just they don't really actually have a deep understand. And there's a lot of people here in Atlanta that have lost their seed phrase. Because they typed it into a website. They didn't quite understand what they were doing. They had a whole Bitcoin up until like last week, and then it's like, my God. They didn't actually fully understand. And you know what's scary is when you think you understand something, and then guess what? You don't touch it for 5 years. Guess what? You don't remember shit.
You remember nothing.
You remember absolutely not. Oh, guess what? You know that passphrase that you set that you thought you're really smart about? Guess
don't
what?
remember
you just scammed. You just rugged yourself. Because you didn't write it down. And I
write down my derivation path and everything. All of that's included in my backups.
I just feel like
bad OPSEC. Sorry.
So well, I think what you need.
But I don't care. People need to know.
I think what you do is you put your 12 words in the op return. Now that the op return limit has expanded, so you put your 12 words in the op return, and then you put your derivation path secretly somewhere else that's custom, and then boom, you always have a backup on chain. You can't lose your 12-word seed. It's on the chain. By the way, I'm joking. This is like kind of me. Like, I'm like,
did you know that Bitcoin died a couple of days ago?
It's 12 seed word on the
did you know?
We are actually selling Bitcoin Death 478 shirts.
Bitcoin. Yeah, I got to go get some merch. I noticed
78 times. So we have a ticker where like the 7 is rolling up to the 8.
That's right, because that's going to be that's going to be obsolete very, very soon.
Yeah.
It's going to happen again. There's something else, I think it's something else that the audience needs to remember for the people who are watching this, who
actually have quite a few people
maybe friends of mine who are saying, oh yeah, it's like Bitcoin. Yeah, we see the number go up, number go down. You have to understand, like, from an engineering perspective, people use this fact finding like 5 whys. If you ask why does Bitcoin have value? And then you ask why then, and then you keep on deriving. When you get to the root cause of why Bitcoin has value, you can find that at conferences like this, at meetups like this, because Bitcoin doesn't just go up because of scarcity. You know, I remember seeing Michael Dell saying scarcity equals value. No, 21 million doesn't make Bitcoin go up, because if that's the case, then we see a whole bunch of NFTs that are way less than 21 million somehow have value. And you would see a whole bunch of collector cards or collector items that somehow will just go infinitely up in value, but it doesn't. So we learn why Bitcoin has value because of its sovereign use cases that are discovered at conferences like this. Do you kind of like, in your opinion, Mike, besides what I said, what gives Bitcoin its value?
I think you kind of have to go back to the properties of money, but also include the memic. You know, Bitcoin is a meme that we're all buying into because it's way stronger than the fiat US dollar meme.
Oh yeah.
The fiat US dollar meme is dying. Like it's losing its
luster.
It's losing its pizzazz, where it's like we're sort of seeing like, hey, the Dogecoin was fun, but it's a joke at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, Dogecoin is fun, but it's a joke at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Fiat US dollar is fun, but at the end of the day, it's going to end up being a joke. Is how I think the writing on the wall is for it. So, no one is thinking that Bitcoin is the weak player here. The meme of Bitcoin being the strongest currency, having the most energy behind it, having the most human energy behind it. I mean, it's. You could, if you want to value a money based on the energy inputs of the human, energy being put in terms of dev and work and businesses, and the amount of actual joules from proof of work, I think that's probably a good way to say, hey, look, if I have no idea what the actual price of Bitcoin is, I have no idea. It's probably a pretty good indicator to tell me what the most valuable currency is, you know? Like, for instance, if I were to say, like, had no idea to any price action, all I had was public data of proof of work of various blockchains. First thing I'd be like, well, the proof of stake blockchain is probably going to be a scam, because there's no actual, no one's putting, their neck on the line for the thing in terms of energy. And Bitcoin's going to be like the top dog here in terms of like the SHA-256 amount of energy being put in. I mean, I don't know if that really adds anything, but that's sort of what.
Did I answer your question?
Well, I mean, that's kind of how I think about it. I think I kind of default back to proof of work.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah.
And both physical, both in like the actual and the metaphorical.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I think we're good here for an intro. You got any other questions to start it off? Because we got to let Mike. We got to let Mike get back to he's got to go be hosting, right? He's got to keep everybody in check.
He was getting a little hype. And it's like, oh, I think he could stay here for another 30 minutes.
Mike, you can just hang out with us. We're gonna do the news soon. We're gonna talk about what's going on in the just generally in the news. So
maybe I'll go pass out and sleep for like a couple hours and then come back.
You are expected to fall asleep at around noontime.
Yeah.
But come back.
Okay.
Come back later, and
I have to stay till
11. Is there a nap?
No,
at 11 on the schedule?
Is there a nap on the GitHub?
Oh shit.
No, we're gonna leave Mike alone. We're gonna stop picking on him.
I have to be here till 11, and then I'm probably gonna leave.
Okay.
I have to do something at 11, and then get some logistics done with AV, and then don't want to interrupt the current workshop that's going on, and then I'm probably gonna sleep for a couple hours.
I don't blame you, man.
We're going to be here all week.
Yeah, we're going to be here all week.
Monday through Thursday. We fly out. I fly out Friday.
I fly out too.
Maybe I'll be.
I don't want to dock how I got here.
Week, huh?
We want to make sure that you have some more time to come hang out with us. Keep us updated on the events of the week. We're
gonna try to start off each day with you here we're just gonna do that so that we can give everybody the audience like a taste of what's going on every single day at TabConf with Mike.
next 3 days we'll do like the 10-minute recap.
Yeah,
from the previous day.
that's right.
All right, let's
You know,
all
good
right, love
stuff.
y'all.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike,
Mike
for joining
Tidwell.
us. Yeah, we really appreciate it. Mike's got to go back to work. And yeah, guys, we're going to see you in a little bit. Stay tuned on Twitter and on YouTube. We are going to be streaming all day long, randomly. We're going to get some guests that are doing so today. As you heard, Mike, it's workshops today. So we're going to get some people that are doing the workshops to come over, talk to us about what they're working on. And in a couple of hours, we're probably going to, we're going to go through the news. Right, we're gonna take a look at what's going on today because, guys, right, we all know what happened on Friday, right? There was the big announcement from
died.
Trump, right? Bitcoin died. That's right, you know, and then it all fell apart, and China and all kinds of stuff that has nothing to do with Bitcoin, right? So, but of course, we got to make fun of it because miraculously over the weekend, most of it got cleaned up, and nobody even knows what happened. Anyways, guys, we'll see you very soon. Take it easy and stay tuned.